Hey, this is Ryland, and I'm going to show you how to do Tableau 4. So we're going to have a new workbook open, so we're going to connect to our data set, which is a CSV, and I have it right here. So I'm going to go ahead and make the connection in extract. It'll make it run a little bit faster instead of loading every time. And we're going to save this as human resources. Okay, so this is the dashboard that we're going to try to recreate. We're not going to have, it's not going to be exactly like you see here. These are external icons, for example. We're not going to go through downloading those today. But we're going to start here with this number of employees by department. And then right here, there's a drill down. So I can go ahead and show you on Tableau Public. You can drill down here and you can see within the engineering department, you have all of these job titles. So we're going to start with this one. So we're going to go ahead and name this all caps, number of employees by department. And then we're going to bold this section right here, and we're going to center align this. So for our columns, we're just going to put the count of the entries in the data set, and then for rows, we're going to make the department. We want to get rid of this null here, so we're going to go ahead and put department in filters and just get rid of that. And then make this descending. So in the data set right here, we have the top three are black and the rest are this light blue. So we're going to go ahead and make a calculated field. And we'll call this top three ranking. And this will be rank of the count of the whole table. If that rank is less than or equal to 3, then this is going to return true. And if it's not, it's going to return false. And we're going to drag this to color, and these top three will be a different color than the rest of the departments. So let's edit this color and make it so that it's true. And I just double clicked here to bring up the color wheel to get this black. And if it's false, we're going to go ahead and use this color right here. Okay, so now we've got the colors up. We're going to go ahead and hide these field labels as well as this x-axis. For the drill down, we have to make a hierarchy to tell Tableau that these job titles right here belong within the department. So to do that, we're going to right click on department, hierarchy, create hierarchy, and I'm going to call this jobs. And then we're going to drag job title to this jobs hierarchy. Make sure job title is below department. We're looking at this from the least specific to most specific. So department is more general than the job title. And when you do that, you'll see that it'll open this plus icon. And you can see that within the engineering department, you get all of these jobs right here. And the coloring will change based on the top three job titles. So now we have that. I'm going to go ahead and make this fix width as well to keep it looking like this. If we did fix height, it would jumble everything together. So we want to make sure that it's set fixed width so we can see all the job titles here. And that is it for this first one. So we'll go ahead and make the next one. Okay, so I went ahead and renamed this to employees by department. We're going to move on to the second chart, which is number of employees by state. And right here we have a state name and then the ranking on the left-hand side, and then just the count of employees on this bar. So we're going to make a new sheet and name it employees by state, and make the title employees by state, number of employees by state. There we go. Bold it and center align it. And now for the columns, we're going to drag this count here. And for the rows, we're going to start off by making a calculated field. And this will be, we'll call this rank of state. And this will be a rank of the count of the location state. So this will give us that 1 through 8 numbering that we get on the state names. And we're going to go ahead and convert this to discrete. And we are doing that because the measures on the row have to match continuous or discrete, or else it won't let me drag in the location state here. We can see if we do continuous, then it makes it go after the location state. It doesn't make it look like the way we need it looking like. So we'll drag this here, and then we're going to right click and compute using table down, and this will make that numbering right there line up. So we want to get rid of this null, so we will go to location state on the filter and toggle null, and now we have this. We're going to get rid of these field labels for the rows as well as the x-axis. And we want to get rid of these row dividers right here as well. So we'll format, go to borders, row divider, and click none. Now we're going to do some coloring here. So we're going to go ahead and make another calculated field. And we'll call this top 1 rank. So this will be a rank of the count of the whole table. If that is equal to 1, then we want it to be true. So it only colors Ohio right here. So we'll drag this to color, and we got Ohio colored only. So now we'll go ahead and do what we did in the first one and make it black for true, and for false, we're going to choose this teal color right here. So now we have, I believe, everything for this chart. Okay, so this third one is trend hiring by month. And we have a stacked area chart right here. And let me go into Tableau Pub to show you. So we have it by gender right here. So we got non-conforming female and male. So we're going to go back and create a new sheet. We'll rename it hiring by month. And then the title we'll make trend hiring by month. Center align it. So for the columns, we're going to do the hire date, which is right here. And right here you can choose which time frame you want to look at. Oops. So right here we're going to go and change this to month. Okay, and then for the rows we're going to do a count of the table. So now we got this line chart right here. We're going to go ahead and change this to an area chart. Okay, and then we're going to go and drag gender to color, and this will automatically stack it like this. So we'll go ahead and change the colors on these. So we have a null value in here, so let's go ahead and drag gender to filters and get rid of that null. So now we go back into colors, we just have these 3. So we're going to go ahead and make teal for female, gray for male, and we'll do black for non-conforming. Okay, so now we got it looking like this. So we're going to go ahead and rename these axes here. So we'll click Edit Axis, and we'll name this count of hiring. And then we're going to remove the title on here. Okay, so now we got it looking like this, and that is it for this chart. Okay, so next we're going to do this number of employees by age. We see that there is, these are bins of the age. So we're going to have to create a calculated field to group the ages in these groups right here. So we'll name this employees by age, and we will title it number of employees by age. Bold it and center it. So on the columns, we're going to create a calculated field. So we're going to start by creating an age field from this birth date field. So to do this, we're going to use a couple functions called DATEADD and DATEDIFF. I have something copied from my other monitor here. Here, let me actually do this. I got this from the Tableau support. I'll walk you guys through exactly what this is doing. So let me change this first to birth date. Okay, so basically what we're looking at here is we are adding we're taking the difference between today and the birth date in terms of years, and we're adding this difference to the birth date, and we're basically saying that if the amount of years passed from the birth date is greater than today, then we're going to subtract 1. So this will take into account if the birthday is in October and we are still in September, then we'll subtract 1 because the birth date hasn't happened yet. Otherwise, we're just going to look at the difference between the birth date and today. So now that we have this age, we're going to create a bin from this. So we can go to create bins, and we're going to set the bin size to 5 so that we have the 20 to 24 ranges like we saw in the dashboard. And we'll click OK. And we'll move it to columns. And you see what we have, it'll just show the starting number here, 20, 25, 30, 35. So what we can do here is we can do edit aliases. And whenever there is a member right here, we can assign it a value. So for this, we can do 20 to 24, 25 to 29, and so on, all the way down. Okay, and okay, yep, so that's how they had it. Great. So then for the rows, we're going to do a count. And let's go ahead and remove null from the age here. Okay, so now we have that. We're going to go ahead and rename this y-axis here. So we'll do edit axis. And we will call this number of employees. Okay, and then we'll do a color so that the max, the largest age bin will have a color. So here we will do analysis, create calculated field. Oh, you know what? We have a top 1 ranking already that I forgot about, so we can actually just drag this straight to color, and that makes it easy. And then we'll go ahead and edit this, and we'll make true our black, and we'll make false this teal, right? Yep. Hit OK. And then also they have this label over the max, and so what we can do is we can just select this right here, mark label, always show, and now we have that label always show. So that's it for the employees by age. Let's move on to the next one. And the next one will be the gender percentage right here. We're going to make it a little bit different. They have this total in the middle and kind of made this into a donut chart, but we're not going to go ahead with making a dual axis and combining those for this particular chart. So we're going to start with the rows, which are going to have two fields. We will have a count of the table and then gender. Let's go ahead and make this discrete so we can do this. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead to show me and select pie chart, which is not working right now. Let's see. Okay, great. It didn't like that I had it as discrete there. So we're going to resize this to entire view. Let's get rid of this null here. So we'll go to gender, null, get rid of that. Okay, and we have it looking like this. So we're going to do some labeling here. So we're going to drag gender and count to the label. So we'll do gender right here, and we'll do the count right here. So now we get the gender and the count on the outside of the pie chart. For count, we're going to do a quick table calculation because right here we have it in terms of percentage. So we'll go right here, quick table calculation. We'll do percent of total. So now we have the percentages there. And let's go ahead and format that label. So we'll go here. Actually, let's go here to text. So we're going to make this bold 10-point font. And then we're going to put the gender, make sure the gender is above the count. And center align it. Okay, there we go. And that'll be it for the pie chart. Oh, I need the table name here. So we'll edit this and we'll call this gender percentage. And yep, that's what they have it named here. So we'll bold this. Actually, sorry, unbold it. Center align it. And let's name this sheet gender percentage. Okay, for this last one of these two rows right here, we have diversity by race and gender. So we'll name this diversity. And for the title, diversity by race and gender. And we will bold this and center align everything. Okay, so for the columns, we are going to do gender and then the count. Okay, and then for rows, we're going to do the race. So now we got these right here. Let's go ahead and filter these so there's no nulls. And there are no nulls in gender, I don't believe. Okay, so we're going to sort descending. And then we're going to hide these field names. Okay, and then we're going to color by gender. And right here it picked up the coloring on the gender percentage, so that's great. We're going to put a label on here. We'll just drag the count over to the label. So now we get these counts on all the bars. Let's go ahead and hide the x-axis. Okay. And then let's do no borders on the format here. So we'll right click and do format. Those are the field labels. Let's go here, format. And borders, sheet, grand total, none. Which one is the right one here? Okay, row divider, none. Column divider, none. There we go. So that was borders, sheet, row divider, column divider, both none is how I did that right there. And then this is left aligned as well. So let's go ahead and go to format alignment and do left. Oh, that is not the right thing. We'll keep that right. Format right here, format the header alignment left and total left. Let's see, where is this? Race. There we go, header left, default header left. That's where I found that. Sorry about that. And that is it for the diversity by race and gender. Okay, so we're going to start with the KPIs up at top, going left to right. So hired employees will be first. This is just a simple count. Rename this KPI hired employees. And the title will be hired employees. And this will be 9-point font centered. And then we're just going to drag the count to text right here. And then we'll make this center middle. And we're going to bold this. And we are going to make it 20-point font. Okay. And when it's on standard, it doesn't do the alignments quite right. So we can do fit width, and it'll pop back to the center there. So that's it for that one. The next one is this active progress bar. So we'll have to do a little bit of Tableau magic to get this to work. We'll have to find the percent of active employees first, and then we'll have to make this dummy bar in gray just equal 1, and then we'll layer the two on top of each other. So we'll call this KPI active, and the title will just be active, and 9-point center as well. So for columns, we're going to start with a calculated field, and we're just going to call this 1, because it's just going to be equal to 1. And we can do that a few different ways, but I like just using min1, which will just return 1. So we'll drag that to columns. And then the next one will be our percent active calculated field. First, we have to find a total number of active employees, and we can do that by looking at the termination date. And we're going to assume that any termination date that is null will be current employees. So we'll create calculated field, and we'll call this active employees. And we'll say if, we'll do is null on the termination date, then 1, end. Okay, and then we will create another calculated field, and we'll basically take the count of this calculated field we just made, and we'll divide it by the total. And we'll call this percent active. There we go. And we're going to drag this on columns as well. So now we have these stacked right here. We're going to put them on the same axis. So we'll do dual axis right here. So now they have the same axis. And then we'll right click on the axis and we will synchronize it. So now they're on the same scale. And right now they're dots. So we can go to marks over here and change it to bar. And now we have the bar like we saw in the dashboard. I want to get rid of this 2 right here, so we're going to edit the axis right here and change that. So we're going to make it fixed and end at 1, and then make sure the scale is turned off. If there's logarithmic or reversed on here, it'll extend the scale beyond the data values. So just make sure those are unclicked so it moves all the way to the end. And now we have that. Let's go ahead and hide this name right here. Hide show header. Okay, now we have active. So let's go and change the color now. The colors on here was a gray for the min and then blue for the active bar. So for the 1, we're going to edit the color and we're going to make this gray, and the percent active is this blue, which we have already. So it should look like that. And now we're done with this. Okay, one more thing here that I forgot. We're going to go ahead and format this and get rid of these bars. You can barely see them, but just the outside of these bars right here, these lines. We're going to format them and go to rows, sheet, borders, row divider, none. There we go. So this next one is going to be the this little bar chart right here. The headquarters versus remote. So we are going to create a new sheet, rename it KPI HQ versus remote. And we're going to do no title on this one. And on the columns, we're going to put location. And we're going to put the count on the rows. And then we're going to get rid of that null. So we'll do location. Oh. Filters, location, not null. Okay. And then the color, we're going to use this top one ranking for the color. That matched our last chart, so that's nice. So looks like it does here. We're going to drag the count onto the label so we can see those too. And then these are in percentages, so we're going to make a table calculation on this and change this to percent of total. That's great. We're going to get rid of this y-axis here. We'll keep these. Let's go ahead and fit width. Okay, and let's hide this as well. Great, so that's it for the headquarters versus remote. Next, we're going to do this terminated KPI. Rename this KPI terminated. And we're just going to name this terminated up here. And we will go 9-point font, center. So to get this terminated number, we're going to look at the termination date, and we are going to create a calculated field, and we will call this terminated. And we'll basically say if is not null on the term date, then 1. So if there, oh, what is that? If not is null, there we go. Then 1. So anything that has a termination date, any entry we'll have as 1, and we'll label them as terminated. Okay, and we are going to drag this to the text. We got 3929 right there. Let's go ahead and change this to center middle, and we'll make this bold 20-point font like the others. Okay, great. And then we can go to fix width so that we can see that it's populated right there. Okay, so for this next one, we're going to make this average age KPI. We'll rename it average age. Title average age. And we'll center this 9-point font. Okay, and then we'll take this age field, this calculated field we made prior, and we'll bring it to the text. And we'll change the measure from a sum to an average. We want this to be a whole number, so we'll click Format, click on the average age field, and then Numbers, Custom, 0 decimals. Then we also want this to be center middle, and we want it to be bold and 20-point font. Okay, and we'll do fit width to see that it pulls it to the middle. Next, we have average years tenure. So we'll rename the sheet average years tenure. And it's named average years tenure like that. So we will do average years tenure, 9-point font, centered. So for this, we'll do a calculated field. We'll call it tenure. And basically, we want to look at the termination date and the hire date. And if there is a termination and a hire date, then we'll just look at the amount of years between those two dates. If there's not a termination date, then we'll assume that they're hired through today, and we'll take the difference in today and the hire date. So first, we'll check if ISNULL, the termination date. So if there is no termination date in the data set, then we'll take the DATEDIFF and we'll look at the amount of years from the hire date to today. And then else, so if there is a termination date, we'll take the DATEDIFF in years between the hire date and the termination date. And let's see. Okay, so it looks like one of these are strings. So in this error, it says it's being called with string and date and string. Did you mean string, date time? So we need to convert these to date time. So we can just do that by date time, hire date, and date time, term date. Like that. Okay, and then we can drag it to the text. We can make this an average. And then like the last one, we're going to format it and we're going to change it to a whole number right here. Okay, let's make this center middle. We'll make it bold and 20-point font. Okay, and then fit width. So that's the tenure. Now the last one we have is total department. KPI total department. And we'll rename this total department. Then 9-point font, centered. So here we'll just take this department field into text, and then the measure we want to use is a distinct count. So a normal count will just count every entry in the data set that has a non-null value. Count distinct will look at all the different values. So if engineering shows up 10 times, it'll just show up as one entry in count distinct. So we'll have 13 different departments here. So we'll go and change this text to center middle, 20-point font, bold. Okay, and fit width. So now we have all the cards to make this dashboard. So we'll go ahead and pull this all together now. Okay, so I forgot one thing on this chart. So we just need to drag the count to the label so they show up right here. So now it should look like this one. So now the dashboard. We're going to add some floating horizontal containers to fit our charts in. So we'll start with this first one, which will be at 0, 0, width of 1,000, 130 high. And then the second one will start at 0, 130, 1,000 wide, and we'll go to 335 high. And this last one, we will start at 0, 465, width of 1,000, and 335 high as well. So now we have this whole thing covered, and we can just drag and drop all of these into here. So our hired employees, shift click into these. We have our active progress bar, our bar chart, our terminated number, average age, average tenure, and number of departments. And I can just go and resize these. Okay, looks good. So next we have the employees by department, by state, and by month. So by department, by state, and hiring by month. We'll go here. Let's make this a little bit wider since it's a little bit longer of a, let's see, just making sure my containers are still here. Okay, cool. See, I'll just make this a little bit wider to about there, and we'll make this a little bit bigger too. Let's try and remove these dots here. Okay, that's looking good. For this last one, we're going to do the employees by age, gender percentage, and diversity. So we'll shift click there, there, and there. And we'll remove these legends because we don't need them. Okay, so we'll make this about there, and we'll make this one about there. It doesn't want to go. Okay, there we go. I don't like how that has that scroll bar, so I'll just make it a little bit bigger until it's gone. Okay, there we go. And we'll just make this like that. Okay, guys, well, that's it for this one. Go ahead and publish it to Tableau Public and then send the link and a screenshot into the assignment. Thanks.